The following is a rebroadcast of the Newark City Schools Board of Education's most recent general monthly meeting.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order of the Newark City Board of Education. We're meeting on Monday, June 11th at 6:30 in the Newark High School Student Commons. Call the roll, please, Jeff.
Mr. Bybee is absent. Mr. Blind?
Here.
Mr. Carr?
Here.
Mr. Harden?
Here.
Mrs. Nickum?
Here.
We have a quorum of 4.
Now, Mr. Carr will lead us in the invocation and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we could take just a moment of silence and think about all the kids that will be active this summer, pray for their safety, and just take a moment and think about that now. All right.
Thank you, Tim. Now we'll have a reconstruction update from Andy Rogers.
Good evening. Just a quick update tonight on the high school in McGuffey. We're into the summer months now, so we're trying to wrap up a lot of the work. And if you really look at both projects, they're both kind of in a similar state. We're down into finishes, putting in ceiling tile and floors and doors in the interior of the building. We're knocking out site work. We're going to start paving here in the next few days over at McGuffey once the weather breaks for us a little bit. Over at the high school, Building B, we're looking at completing in the next couple weeks. Loose furnishings will be delivered probably mid-July, maybe trickle a little bit into August because we had a little bit of a delay, as you remember from the previous meeting, on getting that awarded. So there's a lot of work to do, but we feel pretty good about getting it done. That's kind of, in a nutshell, where we're at. The playground equipment also for McGuffey, we're looking at installing during July. So, like I said before, we're pretty confident on where we're at. We do have a lot of work, and it's a lot of coordination between the trades right now. Everybody's kind of stepping over each other, trying to get things done. But we've been here before, so we feel pretty good about where we're at.
Yeah, I saw this morning they were unhooking the power to the portables. When are they supposed to?
Yeah, and I forgot to bring that up. And Dave and I have been working with the modular people on getting those removed. But we unhooked the power. Now we got to get them here to get them because we're gonna pave that lot over the summer. So the sooner they can get out of there, the sooner we can start paving. So one of the contracts we're recommending tonight is for the paving package. The site lighting package, we ran into a little snag on the bidder review process that we're working through, but we can move forward with the paving because all the lighting is exterior. So while we sort that out, we can still move forward with the paving of that lot. So, and that should happen over the next few weeks as soon as you award their contract.
Okay, any questions for Andy? Dennis, did you have anything? Okay, thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
And now we will have a food service report from the food service director, Linda Alta-Peter.
Good evening. In June of 2010, the Healthy Choices for Healthy Children's Act became law, requiring food service departments to have several changes in place by this last school year, 2011-2012. Senate Bill 210 was also passed, restricting the sale of certain a la carte items and beverages sold in the lunchroom. Another additional requirement is that I come and give an annual report to the board. Therefore, that's why I'm here. The good news is that our program was already in compliance with most of the new requirements. Our lunch program has been offering healthy food choices long before all the guidelines took place. Our lunch entrees meet the standards of 35% or less fat, 10% or less saturated fat, and 35% or less sugar. Unhealthy snack items were taken off the menu some years ago. Fresh fruit offerings were started 2 to 3 days per week in the elementary and daily in the middle and high school. All of our a la carte items are in accordance with the Alliance for Healthier Generations guidelines. They meet the 35-10-35 standards that I previously mentioned. Our beverages are also in compliance. A type A reimbursable lunch that we offer is called an offer versus serve, meaning that a student may choose 3 of the 5 items, or all 5, or 4 items, but they can decline up to 2 items. New next year, and this will be new next year for everybody, is that every lunch is required to have a minimum of either a half a cup of a fruit or a vegetable in order to count as a full meal. And we are also now limited as to how much meat and grains we can offer, but there are more fruits and vegetables that will be available than were in the past. So gave up the meat, get a little bit more fruit and vegetables, healthy. In recent years, the food service departments in many districts have struggled to provide healthy options and maintain their cost structures. We are proud to have found ways to provide healthy, appetizing options while operating in the black for several years, and we hope it continues. We have had a breakfast program in each of our schools for several years. We offer breakfast for $1.25 for full-pay students, 30 cents for reduced-price students, and free for students already on the free lunch program. We had our school meals initiative and coordinated review effort from ODE this past year. They came in, reviewed our nutritional information, free and reduced lunch applications, food temperatures, production records, watched as we served our students breakfast and lunch, and made sure that we were giving them a complete lunch. We recently updated our wellness policy and our food for sale policy, and are happy to say we are in compliance with ODE regulations. With all the new hype about unhealthy lunches, I believe we offer fresh, healthy options for lunch, and we continue to look forward to new ideas and ways to offer healthy choices at a minimum cost, and that they are received well by the students and staff. Any questions? No?
How do we monitor that the students are eating the lunches? Do we have any kind of, anything in place or any kind of evaluation process to see that if these kids are indeed getting the healthy things that they need?
Well, before they can leave the line, before they pay or
They have
leave the
X
line,
amount.
we have to check their tray. So we have, this year, we'll have to make sure they have a fruit or a vegetable on the tray, plus at least 2 other items. And then food service kind of stops at the door, but teachers, I know, are monitoring and have called parents before if they suspect there's a problem. Or parents have
I
called
mean, I know
parents.
there's a lot of issues that can arise with young people and eating disorders
Right.
and that kind of thing.
I think Barb
Sure.
and others could tell you that, particularly in the elementary and middle schools, there's a lot of staff out in the lunchrooms, and they're seeing what's going on. Okay?
Thank you, Linda. And now we'll take communication from the floor. Anyone wishing to address the board can come up to the podium, give your name, address, and speak for up to 5 minutes. Anyone wishing to address the board this evening? If not, we'll move on to treasurer's recommendations. Jeff?
Item 2A, approval of board meeting minutes from May 14th, 2012 regular meeting. Item 2B, approval of May 2012 financial reports, including interest earned of $6,052.61. We currently have $38,658,383.37 in the bank. The breakdown by fund is the general fund has $17.4 million, bond retirement is $2.9 million, building fund is $2.6 million, food services $900,000, Ohio School Facilities local money is $2.2 million, Ohio School Facilities project state share is $7.7 million, classroom facilities is $1.9 million, and other miscellaneous in the grants and other funds is $3.1 million, for the total of the $38,658,383. Also in your packet, board members, I included an additional sheet that was provided to me by Linda Alderpeter and her staff. More than a year ago, you all made a decision that we would feed every child regardless and try to collect the money the best we could. I think the staff's done a very good job for the total for the 2011-2012 school year. We only had about $3,083.77 still outstanding at the end of the school year. That's for the entire school year. So if you want to look at it, we made sure every kid, or Linda's staff made sure every kid had a decent lunch, something other than cheese and crackers, and the board only had a cost of about $3,083 that was not paid from parents or guardian or wherever, okay? So just wanted to add that to her report. Staff's doing a good job, and so is Linda doing a good job. Approval of supplemental appropriation, item 2C. You see the Fund 002 bond retirement, $9,995,000. That's to authorize me to pay off the bonds that we refunded and reinvested in the new fund to get the lower interest rate, and we saved about $527,000 on that refunding of those bonds. The 499 is miscellaneous state grants. That's the $66,286, where we encourage everybody to spend every dollar that we get on grants. In doing so, sometimes they overrun that, and all the grants together, we needed to supplement about $66,000 in order for me to balance those books and balance those final expenditure reports. Item 2D is approval of the Licking Area Computer Association agreement. This is the agreement that we have with LACA for operation this next year. It totals $186,041.23, and I believe that's slightly less than it was this past year. Item 2E, approval of the 3-year agreement for compilation services for CAFR preparation. We went out for bids for that, had 4 CPA firms respond to that. We're actually staying with the same firm that we've been with the past 3 years. They've done a good job, and they were the low bidder for $31,500. That's for all 3 years. Item 2F is approval of the 3-year contract for audit of the New York City schools. That's going to Kennedy Cottrell Richards. We go through a procedure with the state treasurer's office where they have certain criteria that we grade applicants on. Kennedy Cottrell was the one that the state auditor chose. They actually make the final decision, and we're more or less tied to their decision to have them do our audit for the next 3 years. The good news is that Kennedy Cottrell wasn't the highest bidder, most expensive, but they weren't the lowest. They were kind of right in the middle, and they would have been the lowest, but about $2,000. There was one that was right around $95,000 for the whole year, and that was for $97,485. That's for all 3 years. Item 2G, approval to increase funding for Call to College. I included a sheet in your packet from me for that, and it shows what the funding was last year and what the funding is this year. The increase of about $30,000 is due to taking the PEAK program down to other grades and introducing kids the opportunity that they can go to college and how they can do that. Again, instilling and trying to encourage the kids to not give up, to dedicate themselves to their schoolwork and get done with college or high school and go on to college. It's a good investment for the board. The budget for Call to College is about 5 times what we're approving here. So we're spending 20 cents on the dollar to get that entire staff to do a lot of counseling work and work that we would have to hire people for to do in place of us. And it's a work that sets us apart from other school districts and having that opportunity for our kids to sit down with somebody that knows FAFSA and the application process and those people in the colleges and everything like that. So if there's not any questions, I will take those. And if there's not any questions, I would entertain and ask that you approve item 2A through G.
To have a motion to approve treasurer's recommendations 2A through G.
Second.
Tom is moving, Curtis second. Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickum?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to superintendent's recommendation, and Mrs. Quackenbush will sit in for Doug tonight.
Thank you. Glad to be here. This is always an exciting time of year. Under personnel, retirements and resignations, would like to point out Kitty Armbrust and Chris Wapple. They are actually in our treasurer's office, and they will be retiring January 1st. They are assets to our district, so we're sorry to see them go. And
Not as much as me.
I know. They are very knowledgeable, so we certainly will wish them the best as well. Under appointments and assignments, we have many new teachers to the district, which I am happy, always happy to present. Just a couple adjustments to the agenda with Jennifer Floto. She has a master's degree, not a bachelor's degree, and Mackenzie Kelly, under her years of experience, has 1 year experience, not 0. Also, on the addendum, very excited because I've been working with a nice group of students, staff, and a parent and a community member from the district for our orchestra director. So I'm pleased to share on the addendum that we have Aaron Wilburn, who will be joining us as our new orchestra director. He is full of excitement, and we're looking forward to working with him. Under supplemental contracts, as you can see, there are numerous pages with the high school athletic supplementals as well as the high school interdisciplinary Cup and Chaucer clubs, lots of teachers ready for that. Also, please note the addendum with that there, in the addendum for tennis is Rob Hayes and Chris Binkley. Needed to get them on there as well. Also, please note under summer school teachers, again, with your addendum, Ellie Callis was also added to that big group as well. We don't have any salary or position adjustments at this time. Tutors, again, in the addendum, Stacy Hamby is a home instruction tutor as well. Under substitutes, we have a couple added there, and as you can see, numerous aides, bus drivers, and food service subs. Under other, I asked for the approval of the recommendation of the substitute teachers. Actually not being approved would be Patty Baumgartner. She's in that same position that we've had on the board in the past where she's been in this preschool position for over 60 days. She'll still be working with us, but just not in that position. The approval of the resolution for administrative salaries, and C, the approval of the service deduct agreement with the Licking County Educational Service Center. So at this time, I would recommend items A, 1 through 8.
Do you have a
If
motion?
there are any questions.
Sorry, do you have a motion to approve superintendent's recommendation A, personnel 1 through 8?
So moved.
Kurt is moved and Thomas second. I would move that we set aside Martha Harmon to vote on separately. Do I have a second to that?
I'll second
motion?
that for you.
Any discussion on that motion to set aside Martha Harmon? If not, call the roll, please, on that, Jeff.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickam?
Yes. So now, any discussion on superintendent's recommendations, personnel A 1 through 8, with the exception of Martha Harmon?
I would like to pass on, it's nice to have these athletic supplementals this early.
Yeah.
I know there's been times that they've been sort of after the fact. And
I've worked, I think, since my time in this position, tried to work with the treasurer's office and with the athletic department to really make sure, knowing that the board appreciates having these on as soon as possible, to try to get as many as we possibly could. So every once in a while, I may forget one, but I try to recover from that. But I appreciate that.
Any other discussion? If not, call the roll, please, Jeff.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
yes,
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickam?
Yes, motion carries. And now could entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Martha Harmon to principal for McGuffey, 1-year contract.
So moved.
Kurt is moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thomas, second. Any discussion? Okay, this is just one where I've kind of spoke before. I'm not 100% against rehire, but this was a situation in which I did not feel it was appropriate, and that's why I wanted to vote on it separately. Call the roll, please, Jeff.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes,
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickam?
No, motion carries. And I think Barb wanted to point out, we
We do have
some
some
new staff
of
members
our
here.
new staff in the audience as well. So if you're a new staff member, if you could stand.
Yeah, you're official now. We
You're
just voted.
official.
Can
Congratulations.
Can we separate all of them out and vote individually?
And while you're
Too
here,
late.
if you could, yes, I think it would be nice if you could just say who you are and what you'll be doing for the board so they can get to know you. We'll start with Elizabeth.
My name is Elizabeth Christ, and I will be the intervention specialist at Legend and John Glenn Elementary.
Hi, I'm Ashley Fullen. I'll be a second grade teacher at Cherry Valley Elementary. I'm Liz Shar. I'm going to be the art teacher. I'll be at Cherry Valley and also at McGuffey. I'm Jennifer Flood, and I'm going to be the kindergarten teacher at First.
Very good. Thank you.
Well,
glad you're here. I'm sorry. Glad you're here.
You didn't tell Barb
Glad you're
that they
here.
were to bring the snacks tonight?
I know, I forgot, and met all of these wonderful teachers, and Mindy and Maura also in the audience, and Mark Severance is not here, but Mindy and Maura and Mark have also helped me this year with going out recruiting, and sometimes I go by myself, and other times to OSU and OU, I take a group, so thank you to Mindy and Maura for helping, and Mark as well, so. Next, under students and curriculum, special education contracts with Eagle Wings and Licking Valley, and also the approval of the student handbooks for elementary school, middle school, and high school, recommending items B1 through 6.
Do I have a motion to approve superintendent's recommendations B 1 through 6?
So moved.
Second.
Kurt has moved, Tim has second. Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickam?
Yes, motion carries.
Under gifts, certainly, again, I think I get lucky sometimes when I get to facilitate for, and sit in for Mr. Ute, because I'm very excited and very thankful to Lou Mitchell and Acalda College for their generous donation of $65,000 for our 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. Lou and the Acalda College group is always so supportive of our kids and this endeavor, so it's quite thankful and honored to be able to thank Lou and Acalda College. Also, the VFW for their facilities for our Junior ROTC Awards Banquet, and a very nice contribution for band uniforms in memory of Joseph Parkinson, so gifts.
To have a motion to approve superintendent's recommendation C, gifts.
So moved.
Second.
Tom has moved, Tim is second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please, Jeff.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickam?
Yes, motion carries.
Under business, we have in the addendum, the advertising of bids to purchase 3 buses of the size and type deemed appropriate by the supervisor of transportation. I know Dave is here if there are questions. As Andy indicated, the acceptance of bids for site paving at Newark High School, classroom furniture from for Newark High School, and miscellaneous furniture at Newark High School under D3, and the awarding of bids to site paving at Newark High School for Smalls asphalt paving, Zimmerman School Equipment for the classroom furniture, and Tom Sexton and Associates for the miscellaneous furniture. That's my recommendation to recommend items D 1 through 5.
Do I have a motion to approve superintendent recommendations D, business 1 through 5?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Kurt has moved, Tom is second. Any discussion? Not call the roll, please, Jeff.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickam?
Yes. Motion carries. And now we have adoption of board policies. It is recommended that the Board of Education adopt the policies listed below as shown in the appendix and as announced on the May 14th, 2012 meeting of the Board of Education. From the SALT Committee, 8320.01, Personal Information Systems, 5460.01, Diploma Deferral, 5517.01, Bullying and Other Forms of Aggressive Behavior, 8451, Head Lice, 8462, Student Abuse and Neglect. Do I have a motion to adopt these board policies?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Yeah. Second.
Kurt has moved and Tim is second to adopt these board policies. Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please, Jeff.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickam?
Yes, motion carries. And now we are ready for board discussion. We can start down on the end with Tim.
Well, just thrilled to have the kids out of school. Thanks to all the teachers, administrators, folks who made it happen all year, because it was a good year for Newark City Schools. We're moving in the right direction. Young folks, glad you're here. New teachers, thrilled to have you on board, and we're excited about that. Personal for me, it's summertime. As one who has dealt with skin cancer and will continue to do that probably for the rest of my life, if you've got children and the millions of people watching on TV this month, if you can make sure your kids get sunscreen, that would be very helpful.
I pass.
I'll pass.
Jeff?
It's wonderful to be in Newark, Ohio, wonderful to serve this community, and I'm just thankful to be here. And I am enjoying the summer, even though I've got to work 12 months out of the year. Yes, treasurers work 12 months out of the year. We do not get the summer off. Thank you.
Barb?
Kind of following with what Tim has said, I think we've had a great school year this year. Our entire staff just does phenomenal things with our kids every day, whether you're the building secretary, you're the bus driver, you're the teacher, you're food service. Everybody really pulls together and comes together for our kids and puts our kids first. So just thank you to everyone, and enjoy your summer. Read a good book.
I kind of ditto what everyone else has said. Thank you for a great school year. Looking forward to the next one, which will be here before we know it, of course. And welcome to the new staff members. We're excited to have you. And with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Kurt's moved, Tim is second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Harden?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mrs. Nickum?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.